taking their spots. They are certainly formidable, but it's not the strongest order that the Norwegians put out there. But on the women's side, you have Karolina Notten, who is very solid on the shooting range, 86% shooter starting out from Norway, going up against Lou Jean-Minot, 92% shooter, and Dorothea Viera, 89% shooter. Jean-Minot is a little bit faster skier, but it all comes down to really those first two legs, I think, between Norway and France, as to whether France can drop Norway. And if they do, then Norway's going to have to catch up on Eric Perrault and Emilie Jacquelin, and I think that's a pretty even load between Sheldon and Surum. So it's a good matchup both on the men's and women's side between France and Norway. For a surprise, I would say watch out for Italy and Sweden.
So we're taking a look at the course for this 4x6K mixed relay. Chad, well, it's traditionally a very tricky course, particularly because of the steep climbs. You don't really get a chance to switch off here in Kontiolahti. What do you think the preparations will be with that in mind?
Well, this is a course that is really a great place to start a World Cup season because it tests everything these athletes have tried to train for over the summer months. And you see the German team warming up. The climb into the range is basically called the wall, and it is a wall. It is very steep, and it's quite long. And that alone is one of the biggest tests of a shooting range on the World Cup circuit. This venue is known for that. But on top of that, with the snow falling, that'll slow things down. And the shooting range can change quickly. It can change on a dime if the wind blows in. So from the time to zero to the competition, if there's any change at all, the athletes are left trying to figure that out on their own. The coaches can't talk to them when they're on the range. So it makes things pretty interesting. Kontiolahti is an absolute biathlon paradise in terms if you want it to be a challenging race.
So early test of the season, let's say. We can see the start list flashing through the screen. If you are new to biathlon and new to the BMW IBU World Cup, it is, as you say, 4x6 kilometre relay, and it will be the women who go first and then brought home by the men. And we can take a look at the start. You will have 8 rows of 3 athletes. Chad, what's the key to getting a good start in this race?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that you just get situated and you stay out of trouble. Every biathlon relay starts at a sort of pedestrian pace. And in a lot of cases, that's a good strategic move for some people to put one of their slower skiers in a better shooter. Because very seldom does anybody go out and fly off the first lap of the biathlon race. It means you can maybe put a little bit weaker skier in that first leg. And that is a strategy that teams take from time to time. But a lot of teams will pick that up too, and some of them might pick the pace up. So I think the biggest thing is keep your tips clear, don't fall, especially on these fast course with this new snow falling. It's going to be variable. Where the new snow is, it's going to be slower, and where the new snow gets pushed away, it's going to be icy. So you could have variable conditions, testing your balance. So stay upright, don't fall, and just get to the first shooting stage intact, because that's where the race really starts.
Jean-Minot on the centre of your screen, wearing bib 1, and then the small number next to the numbers indicating the order that the athletes are going in within their teams. This is a very similar team to the one that was victorious in the first race of mixed relay last season. The only change from the quartet being that young Perrault is in. Leon Maillet was just managed to hold on to second in the sprint, the single mixed relay earlier on today. There's a quick look at the Italian team led out by Dorothea Viera, such an experienced head, and leading out a very young quartet with 3 athletes after her, the oldest of which is 24. Chad, I think with Italy, you have to say they're definitely looking towards the Olympics and developing their talent before that Winter Olympics on home snow.
Absolutely. You look at the Germans, a mixture of experience and youth. The Italian team is actually a very exciting team. Dorothea Viera clocks in at 34 years of age. Now, she is at least 10 years older than every one of the 3 athletes she's competing with, which is a good sign, both that they've held on to their veterans to teach the youngsters how to compete at the highest level. Dorothea Viera and Hanna Augenthaler share a gold medal from the World Championships in the women's relay from 2 years ago. And Didier Bionats and Tommaso Giacomello, both at 24 years of age, two of the most exciting up-and-coming biathletes in the entire
Ребят,
sport.
проставьте лайки, чтобы продвинуть трансляцию в топ,
Silence falls.
чтобы нас больше было.
Getting underway in this second race of the
Start.
day here at Confiolate. The athletes poised. We are ready to go.
Швеция уже сегодня победила в сингл-миксе. Что
And
же
they're away.
в смешанной эстафете?
In the first mixed relay of the 2024-25 BMW IBU World Cup season.
Так, старт начался.
Interesting to watch, Alan. First of all, the snow falling on the camera lens tells everything you need to know about what it's like out there in the snow. It's wet, right around freezing. But more importantly, if you look at the tracks, the athletes in the front, when they lay down, they're stepping on this thin layer of new snow. It turns to almost a mirror as soon as they step on the snow. And that tells you it's slower to be at the front than it is to be at the back. If you get on that glassy track that somebody's already skied over, you have a big advantage, over the leaders.
You can see the difference in, well, the temperature has obviously dropped. Darkness has fallen over the track. The first of 12 laps, and our first checkpoint will be the 1.2 kilometre mark. Chad, we've got a slight change in the course today, haven't we? In that after the first downhill, it's the second turn that's being used rather than the original 2 kilometre turn. The race director has said to allow for more fluent skiing in this race.
Yeah, I think what was happening is the track was really fast, and they were coming into that turn too quickly, and were not able to maintain control. The snow has helped the organizers down a little bit. It's probably going to slow them down a little bit and make that turn, that original turn, probably more skiable, but just adding that little extra... You see the difference right there. It's basically 15 meters further. It just allows them to check their speed before they hit that turn. No real problems there now, but that's a good, smart choice by the organizer.
Подпишитесь на канал, ставьте лайки, чтобы продвинуть
So
эту
running through the bib one
трансляцию.
numbers once again: France with 1, Norway 2, Italy 3, Sweden 4, Germany 5,
Если мы плохие,
Czechia
то не
wearing
имеем
6,
проблем.
Switzerland with 7 on their chests and bibs as we get the first splits through, and it is Anna Magnusson who is leading the way. Sweden obviously, of course, got off onto such a quick start as well in the single mix. Still a huge group, but Sweden once again leading the way in this mixed relay through the first checkpoint.
One thing you'll notice, you'll see on the wall, of course, I mean, you're gonna see the wall very vividly here in a moment. That was not
Кто у нас на последнем
in the
месте?
single mix relay earlier because it's just too far
Черкова
from the shooting range
из
for that
Молдовы.
1 kilometer groups. But you'll see them sort of accordion up, and then I think you'll see some time gaps develop, even in this first lap. This is one course where time gaps can possibly develop in the first lap just because of that wall. Now you see, look at the almost like lights in the background of the ski over that.
Швеция очень хорошо подготовлена.
Like a mirror where the ski has passed, and that's because the friction of the ski kind of creates a layer of water on that new snow, and then the ski has to deal with that water, and it slows down. It's suction. And so this is actually a good development from the organizing side, in the fact that they were carrying so much speed on that fast man-made snow. Everybody's still together here at the
Луи Жимано выходит на первую строчку.
Kufuk, Germany, only young, developing athlete, 22 years of age. Gets the nod from the German team.
See just how hard it is to drive up the slope. It saps so much energy as well, and how much of a challenge is it to go from there into the range.
So this is the hard part. This is where you need to make a decision from that top of that hill into the range as an athlete. You have to decide if am I going to follow
Луи Жимано, Швеция на втором.
or am I going to do my own
Анна Магнуссон, третье место Йоханна Хофф.
on paper is quite a ways off the ski speed of everybody she's near. She's in third place.
Стойка Лёшка, стойка Лёшка. Тут у каждого спортсмена по одному разу.
Marks on the scale of speed, she's 6 months faster. -4 from the average speed of the field. So quite a distinct difference in their skiing ability. And it remains to be seen if Johanna Post, who is a 93% shooter, maybe feels like she's fine under a higher heart rate and can risk that a little bit. But I'm a little skeptical that the German is pushing just a little too hard to hang with the Swede and the French.
It is for plenty. For, of course, the first time out in the Biathlon World Cup this season. But there were a few selection races, season openers, before the athletes travelled over to Finland. And we're into the range for the first time. Jean-Monod leading the way, and you can see the wind has picked up considerably from this morning.
Ветер есть. И сейчас стрельба будет, конечно, непредсказуема. Кто справится 6 километров в секунду. Минут, в секунду. Чехия промах. Италия чисто на Доротея. Швеция, Норвегия, Франция справляются и уходят. Ребят, поставьте лайки. Кому интересен биатлон, кто любит смотреть.
29-year-old out of the range first.
Яханопуф на 4-е место. Каролин Кнопка, Норвегия,
Second
1-е.
overall last season. Missed though 2
После
races
первенства
because of illness.
Словения на штрафной круг уже. Латвия 2 штрафных круга.
Italy in third, Germany in fourth.
Казахстан чисто.
Great shooting from the German. As we have a great view of Jean-Monod.
Луи Жаманов.
Nobody so far, through 19 teams, only one extra round has been used, so very solid shooting through the first shooting stage. First, Ava clean on the range, 5-5. Then comes a bunch of teams with one extra round each. First team with more than that is 3, that's Moldova.
Ну, в принципе, хорошо отстреляли.
17.
And obviously those extra rounds, incredibly useful, but when you think about the time that it takes to load them in, can really be a double-edged sword.
It is, and we talked about that a little bit on the single mix. Quite a little less of an issue the longer the distance gets. So 6 kilometers is not a very long race. It's a 4-person race time, 6 kilometers. It's 24 kilometers. So you just can consider how condensed the single mix relay is. And those extra rounds aren't quite as costly. They're less costly in this scenario than they were this morning. But still, it's not a freebie. It's just that you're basically cutting the penalty time in half. And maybe staying out of penalty entirely just because you have this extra round. If you use all 3
Как Норвегия лидирует после первой стрельбы.
So we have a breakaway group of 5. Norway, France, Italy, Germany and Sweden.
There's Jean-Monod, who historically is the fastest of the
Но Доротея хочет атаковать. Каролин Кнопка. И вытянули лидирующую позицию.
She has earlier in her career last year she saw a relatively drastic drop in speed, about a 2% drop in speed, which is pretty significant.
Доротея
Better here, you know. Every year's a new year, and Beer now emerges at the front, and just as I say that,
он перемещается на 3-е место.
Dorothea Rivera, 3
Не
bronze
так
medals,
далеко.
1 from each of the last 3 Olympic Games.
Все
And of course, the
находятся.
Olympics heading to Italy in 2026. Leading a very young Italian team, but Hannah Ockenthaler was saying in the
Пишите в
off-season
чате, за
she
кого
has a
вы
really good
болеете.
relationship with Villa, and
Ставьте лайки,
a lot of
кому
the
не
young athletes that go
сложно.
to her asking for advice, and she's
Что
always there
продвинуть
to help
трансляцию.
and advise and answer questions to the best of her ability. She's such an asset as they go into an
Всем
Olympic
привет,
season.
кто присоединился.
Amongst the squad.
Alan, I think what's really interesting about Dorothy
Смешная
is
эстафета.
her conundrum. She's 34 years
Кончила
old.
акция.
It helps to be older because you have a
Первый этап
communication.
Кубок мира начался.
But here's an athlete from a small town in northern Italy who's one of the best in the sport in the history of her country.
Сезон.
Three-time world champion, but she's got only two relay medals, no individual medals in the Olympics. And the Olympic Games are coming to her hometown. How can you stop?
Гора.
And I think this is a really compelling sort of which side of the card do you play? Do you retire early and call it good? We thought that she might do that, but she decided she's going to stick around for the Olympic Games. And Vera now drops into second place, but really one to watch because she can really be a factor in setting the tone for the Italians into those Olympic Games.
Yeah, we've spoken a bit about it earlier today when the shorts and the single mixed relay was going on about different types of motivation, didn't we? And it is always interesting, particularly when you've had such a long and fruitful career on the World Cup scene, to then, you know, try and figure out what that next motivation is going to be. And when you look at the Olympics, obviously, and one on home soil, on home snow, such a big motivator. And she is holding a good position, second, just tucked in behind Jean Monod. It's started to thread out a bit, hasn't it?
Хочет же много бежать.
And that's largely due to the new snow. I don't think it would have strung out quite as quickly as if it had been as fast as But just going back to the notion of Dorothea Vera, she can come in to that Italian Olympic team and not be at the best in her sport and still contribute in a massive way. She's such a fast and savvy shooter head-to-head. And in any relay situation, as long as she's in good shape, even at 30, she'll be 36. Actually, she'll be 38 at the Olympics. Sorry, 36. I was right. 36. She'll be 36. It's not. It's old for normal standards, but she does not have to be in the shape she was when she was 28. She just needs to be able to hang with the pack and stay on the shooting range. And this is sort of like her job. The position we see her in right now is sort of the job she needs to play for those Olympic Games. So it's just a practice session.
Well, we saw how well Simonetta went earlier on today. Age less of a defining factor in biathlon than potentially it is in other sports.
But yeah, I think the shooting matters. That's the point. The shooting is a great equalizer, especially for Dora. She's clearly plenty fit at the moment. It's just a question of how level it could compare to her past glory days. She's already off to a two-shot lead. It's Doro Vera in the lead, 4 for 4. Even with Norton and the Italian and the Norwegian go clean. Germany chasing there. She misses her final shot. This poof. So it'll be the Norwegians and the Italians. Jean Monod reaching for the extra round, has an extra shot to hit. And she's out of there for France. The key now is for France and Sweden, though, to keep it close to the Norwegians and the Italians. And it's Doro Vera with the lead by 0.6 of a second over Norton. It's going to be over. It's going to be around 10 seconds plus, over 10 seconds to third.
It is a 10.3 gap back to Jean Monod. Vera leading the way. These athletes coming through now are those in 15, 16. Stick with the action on the range.
Yeah, this is a great example of why Italy needs to keep Dorothea Vera interested in the sport. It's a motivation thing. Because let's face it, training for this sport is not easy. It's a lot of time. You start getting in your 30s, you start thinking about your future, and do you want to keep roller skiing every day? Do you want to go out in the rain and snow? I remember Gunde Svan, the great Swedish skier back in the 80s, said you have to train when it's raining nails, and that's the truth. And Doro knows that, even though she is a fixture on Instagram and very fashionable, but she knows that you have to be tough in this sport. Even if you are primped for the camera, she's tough as nails to the core, and she's leading this World Cup.
You have to be. So we have two leading. It's Italy ahead of Norway, and then the gap that Jean Monod is trying to close. When they left the range, it was just over 10 seconds.
Well, now we're going to get a real look at how Dorothea Vera's training has gone, because Carolina Norton is not the ultimate test. She's not the fastest cross-country skier from Norway that they could put her up against, but it's a light test. It's two skiers that Norton was faster than Vera last season, and now Vera can prove and show us all what she's done over the summer. If Norton can get past her, you know that maybe Vera still has some fitness to ease into. She's done that in the past. She's come into the season a little bit out of shape and raced herself into shape. But this is a pretty impressive performance by Dorothea Vera. If you look, there's a lot of gap to third place, and it'd be hard to say that Dorothea Vera is out of shape right now.
Yeah, we've just gone through the 5.2 split, and the gap has got bigger back to France. And Jean Monod, it is now 11.9 seconds. Anna Magnusson falling off the back of Jean Monod as well. She's down 12.7 in fourth. The gap is opening.
Yeah, and this is what biathlon wants to see. You want to see a fully fit Dorothea Vera contending for the highest spots in the World Cup, because she's just a great personality. She's so good for the sport, and she's fun to watch when she's out there.
Все, пожалуйста. Надо Натальерс.
Switzerland now with Canada in tow.
Также проставляйте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал. Будут стримы биатлона.
Fighting their way through conditions. This tough climb.
Доротея борется.
And another thing, Chad, we spoke about it earlier. If Dorothea Vera can perform here, that will give her a lot of confidence going into the rest of the season, as it's now Norton who just edges into the lead, but there's nothing between them. It's just based on the course they've decided to take on the track.
Yeah, Vera's doing a great job. I was interested to see what Vera had in this first leg. It's always the first race of the season. You're always, as a fan and as a commentator, you're always trying to ascertain and sort of see how people stack up against each other. And Norton was 3% faster per kilometer, 3 seconds faster per kilometer on average than Dorothea Vera last season. And they're staying even. They're even right now. And in fact, I would say Vera has probably looked the better of the two in this first lap.
Well, the noise as they come up the slope, the support is excellent. And Norton now opening a slight advantage on Vera.
So this brings us to the conundrum for Italy as to who goes second. They're going to go with Hanna Augenthaler, who is the slowest, compared to the field. She's on paper the slowest skier of the quartet today compared to the men's field. But she is still a very solid shooter. Augenthaler, 81%, is the second best shooter on the team. The two young men that she'll tag off, Didier Binat and Tommaso Giacomelli, are very fast skiers, but a good 5 to 8% worse on the shooting range than the young Hanna Augenthaler, 23 years of age. But Hanna's father, of course, a U.S. biathlon team head coach, so she's grown up in a family of biathletes.
It is interesting though, because she doesn't always cite her father as the inspiration. She says that first off it was because her friends were doing it, and then she thought, oh, my dad's doing it as well, so I might as well. But she's such a great talker, and when we talk about people who have big aspirations and motivations, she is certainly one of those. Hanna Augenthaler preparing to take over for Italy. A reminder, they are wearing bib number 3. This is Norway handing over. Van der Vold making her way out onto the circuit for Norway. And this is it's a tough matchup, isn't it, for Augenthaler?
It is. Yeah, this is going to be tough. Ingrid van der Vold, one of the fastest skiers on the circuit, against Augenthaler, who really has to stay within herself. So if it had been faster, if the snow hadn't fallen, it would have been a much better situation for Augenthaler to follow, because it just takes less effort. But as the snow continues to fall, it makes it tougher on the skiers who are categorically weaker and just don't have the physiology to match the superstars of the sport. And I would say van der Vold at this point in her career is a superstar on the skis.
Oh, absolutely. There was a lovely shot there of the chaos of the exchange. And it quietens down again as central pack fly through. But this is exactly one of the reasons why we like the relay so much is because you get an opportunity for youngsters like Ockenthaler, just 23 years old, to really test themselves and push themselves against those who have more experience, have more of the accolades. The Sprint Globe winner, of course, last season, and mass start the year before.
Это было
Yes,
предсказуемо,
of course, times.
конечно.
Anna Magnusson, if you take the shooting, Anna Magnusson of Sweden is skiing the fastest of that total course time by
Второй этап у Италии слабый.
So Norton fastest on the skis, and third fastest on the skis, taking the shooting out is Dorothy Veer. Sometimes she drops a little bit because her shooting is so fast, but just taking up the ski, taking up the shooting entirely. Veer shows she's in good shape, just 0.8 of a second off.
Во Франции Жюстин Брастон.
0.5 of a second slower than Norton. So to me, this is sort of a nice to have, a positive sign that Dorothy Veer is back to play.
Так, посмотрим отставание.
So our first splits for our second leg. This is the 7.2 kilometre mark.
Биатлон Марк
Leading away by 10.6 seconds. The gap has already opened up to.
Отставание, как вы видите.
Again, if you think about the time that you can lead in the shooting, the key for Ockenthaler is to just keep it close and hit all of the targets. That's her way of succeeding. And that's a hard thing to do when there's all these stimuli around you telling you, go with them, I got to stay near the front. But Ockenthaler is doing exactly what she needs to do. She doesn't have the speed of trying to hold. And 10 seconds, losing 7 seconds to in the first kilometer is a lot of time. But there's a lot more time than you lost if she misses her shot.
She's not an athlete who gets ahead of herself too much either. She said that she wants to win individual competitions, but sees that very much as a long-term goal and has cited 2026 for when she's going to make her arrival.
Какая может помешать?
This is the wall. If you hadn't figured it out yet, that is the wall. And if you consider that the camera makes things look flatter, this is an awfully steep hill.
I'm tensing my own legs just watching them. I'm very glad we're in the commentary booth and not out on the skis today, particularly as the snow continues to drop down.
У меня просто как бы микрофон далеко, может быть. Так лучше.
Fans have decided this is where their athletes will need the most. Trek down to this part of the course and well received. Others making their way up the wall.
Говорю, пишите, за кого болеете, за какую страну в чате. Также проставьте лайки, чтобы продвинуть трансляцию в топ, чтобы нас было больше. Норвегия. Но у Норвегии есть все шансы, конечно. Сильный состав. Так, подходят девушки уже к своей стрельбе лежа. Ингрид Ландмарк, Тандервольд. Эльвира Оберг тоже не отстает. Ребят, всем привет, кто зашел. Подписывайтесь на канал, кто не подписан. Тут будут стримы. Итак, все стримы. Пока стреляет хорошо. Швеция промах. Норвегия уходит. Чисто. У Швеции проблемы. Франция уходит. Италия стреляет медленно, но точно. Швеция отстреляла с двумя дополнительными. Так, Германия чисто. Франциска Пройс. Маркета Давидова с одним дополнительным. Также Жюстин Браза-Буше 7,5 проигрывает. Эльвира Оберг 13 и 9. Ну, в принципе, все. Отставание не такое большое.
Where we are in the race, there's still almost 3/4 of the event to unfold yet. Anybody within that time frame is certainly still capable of being on the podium by the finish. Here we look at Vanderbilt, the left-handed shooter. She passes with flying colors, her first test of this World Cup season. Right down the middle of the target there, you see the chrome ring. It's the inner ring you get to hit.
Ребят, всем привет.
What size of the inner side of the probe?
Биатлон, первый этап. Смешанная эстафета пока лидирует Норвегия. Что же будет дальше? Главные лидеры бегут. Своих стран. Ребят, проставьте лайки, чтобы вывести трансляцию в топ. 5,6 проигрывает, догоняет. А Жюстин. Итальянка отстает. Но это, понятно, слабый этап. Потому что Лиза Витоци не участвует. Пропускает этот этап. Поэтому Италия не очень сильный состав. Так, подъем. Видно невооруженным глазом, что догоняет. В подъем даже лучше идет Жюстин, чем Ингрид Тандревольд.
Training a little too hard, or they've made some just stick over the boundaries a few too many times. But she did her health did stabilize last year, and I was happy to see that. I think Preuss, if she can have a year where she stays healthy,
Хинталер уже проигрывает 25 секунд.
But it all comes down to her health, and when she's fit, she is absolutely a blistering fast skier. 31 seconds now for Germany back. They're chasing the Italians about 6 seconds ahead for a podium spot.
Буше сейчас себя загонит и промахнется на стойке. Все возможно, но хочет догнать. Она чувствует в себе эту силу. Но обернуться, конечно, и может. если она не в своем темпе идет. У Ингрид Андреваль тоже стойка не очень. Обычно она мажет. А как сейчас? Мы посмотрим, конечно, увидим все. Может быть, соберется Ингрид. Ингрид начнет стриму первая. Промах. Швеция. Чисто. Норвегия с одним дополнительным и больше один дополнительный патрон закрывает. Но все будут примерно близко. Франциск Пройс. Чисто. Италия чисто. Ну, в принципе, отстреляли стойку хорошо. Давидова замешкалась. Не промахнулась. Второй промах. Даже третий уже. Штрафной круг будет у Чехии. Не может никак попасть. Эстония мимо. Швейцария 3 промаха. Это Лена. Тоже будет штрафной круг. Хеки Гросс. Даже 2. Эстония тоже застрелилась. Ну что-то вот эти последние номера, которыми году плохо отстреляли стойку. Многие штрафные круги. Мят, проставьте лайки, чтобы трансляцию в топ вывести. Кому не жалко. Чтобы нас больше стало. Эльвира Умерк. Лидер гонки. Швеция очень хорошо готова. Больше отстает. Все больше захлебнулась в собственной погоне. Начало уже 19 секунд проигрывать. Франциск Пройс 32,7. Италия 43, но очень слабо по скорости. Даже стрельба не спасла. Так, этот подъем очень протяженный. Подъем. Но как будто бы Эльвира Оберг лучше проходит этот подъем, чем Тандервольд. Как будто бы начинает отставать. Уже 25 секунд проигрывает. А было 19. Не справляется со скоростью Эльвиры. Так что мне качество понизилось. Он сейчас, может, вернется. Следующий будет мужчины бежать. Эльвира, да. Убежала. Эльвира в хорошей форме. Расстояние уже большое. Еспертнеллен готовится принять. Ребят, проставляйте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал, кто не подписан. Тут будут стримы Кубок мира биатлона. 5-8 проигрывает Норвегия на данный момент. Еспертнеллен. Что же он покажет? На заключительном этапе Мартин Пенсилома у Швеции. Франция 35. Уже прям последний круг не держала. Очень слабо. Германия 46,1. Италия минуту 0,6. Йоханнес Даля за Норвегию. Догоняет Йоханнес.
Just look at the difference in the ski speed. The fitness is clear, but the power that Shevdal is putting compared to Nelin, Shevdal is still in a speed technique in the D2, pushing out each leg, where Nelin is dropping to a climbing technique, kind of downshifting. Shevdal staying in the higher gear, pushing a higher power output, and just looks superior to Nelin, which is not surprising. Eric Perrault has to try to keep Chevdal in
Эрик Перо
within close enough range to take a strike at him and have his teammate Amelia Jacqueline go up against
за Францию.
Bjorn Surum, because Surum is actually somebody that I think if they're together, Jacqueline can beat.
He's got a lot of work to do.
И Ретмуллер
35 seconds.
за Германию.
And the 23-year-old, they will not be able to have any sight on the leading pair, but they'll have to try and keep that gap as small as possible.
Chevdal now slowing it down, just dropping to Neline's pace. There's no reason to really
Уже вместе идут.
Neline at this point, especially if you want to keep your shooting on point. Chevdal at 88% prone shooter, Neline 86%, 2% difference between the two athletes. Perrault 81%. They're all basically the same when it comes to prone shooting. So
Эрик Перо пытается сократить,
upper hand by backing off.
но на 2 секунды он сократил, в принципе.
So we have three athletes who are through the 13.4k mark, and they're starting now to trickle more through the checkpoint before. Germany are 52 seconds down. The last checkpoint, Italy, were
А вот Германия
7
наоборот
seconds. That will be getting bigger.
проиграл еще.
Danilo Reismuller has to keep Germany close, and he's got to do it with the shooting. Reismuller is not the fastest skier. He's made his way to the German national team for the World Cup standard, and he was a IBU Cup regular the last couple of years. So getting the nod here right away in the World Cup season is great for Reismuller, but he's a long way off the medal stand right now, and he's just got to try to keep the third place option open and try to make sure that he can keep it close to Perrault.
Yeah, this is only his ninth start. He was ranked 6th last season in the IBU Cup.
Так, Лёшка у мужчин.
Germany's glory days are almost unbeatable. It's still a very popular sport, but in a lot of ways, France has kind of turned back.
Кто же будет лучше стрелять? Йоханнес Дали или Еспер Нелин? Еспер Нелин чисто. Йоханнес Дали мимо.
Well, inspired potentially by his teammates' performances earlier on today. Neline going clean. And now we wait.
Закрывает.
What will the gap be?
Эрик Перо. Молодой француз. Чисто. Немец.
Chevdal, 15.6 behind. Neline.
Промах.
Swedish team looking to make it 2 from 2. Top the podium. Thursday is the new BMW IBU World Cup.
Итальянец мимо начинает. С промахом.
Trying to get the Italians up the order too, but that miss is going to keep him out of running. They're already minute 12 back, so I don't think the Italians can recover from this. Too much time lost in the second leg. And it's got to be almost perfectly shooting for the Italians to make. They've already missed.
Но остальные уже отстают. Очень сильно. Ребят, подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки, кто еще не поставил. Если вы любите биатлон, Еспер Нейлин, посмотрим, сколько его преимущества. 10,8.
I certainly didn't pick that, and still a lot of racing to go, but so far so good for Sweden. You got to tip the hat to the coaching staff. They've come out swinging.
We don't want to make the calls too early.
Oh no, this sport is great. Yeah, this sport is great at turning people like you and me into first guessing, putting us in the first guess purgatory.
Эрик Перо 35.
That'll set your predictions.
35 остался при своих.
So Nelin is having a great performance, but still, it's only a 10 seconds gap. Let's call a spade a spade. That's not much.
No, it's been cut by 5 seconds as well. Dale Shevdal, so determined as a racer, and he'll have eyes on that yellow bib with the 4 on the back of Jesper Neylin.
Ну, как будто бы Еспер Нейлин бежит лучше.
You can see in that wide shot with both skiers in the picture, just the slight quicker tempo of Shevdal. Every push he's gliding a little bit further. Plus, his rate of cycle rate on his ski technique is a little bit quicker, just a slight tick quicker than Neylin, and that is just all power. And it's oxygen transport. You need to apply that power. You need the oxygen to do it. Shevdal is a bigger engine owns a bigger engine than Jesper Neylin, but Neylin is a superb biathlete. If he can continue to be the superb biathlete and Shevdal cracks it all, then he can hand his teammate the lead, and Sweden could do the unthinkable. The mixed relays.
So while Dale Shevdal is closing the gap on Neylin in front, the gap behind him, Eric Perrault, is opening. He's just become a little bit too out of touch, but then when you look at it, Germany are then 30 seconds behind the French team. At this point, has the podium slipped away from the grasp of the German team, do you think?
I think unless there's a huge meltdown from the French, Jacqueline is known for being spectacularly exciting on the range. If Jacqueline thinks he has a chance to catch one of the two teams ahead of him by being extremely quick on the range, then he could miss a lot of shots, go to the penalty loop, and have a chance for the Germans to come in and snatch it. But Rick Mueller now, he's almost 40 seconds. He's 40 seconds back of Perrault. I think the ship is sailing away from the Germans at this point.
We're into the range, shooting 6 of 8.
Jesper Neylin, стойка.
Pressure cooker. Neylin strikes first. Shevdal's thinking about it, and he misses. This is what biathlon is all about. Neylin trying to slay the huge Norwegian machine, and he's done 4 for 5, 80%. Now Dale Shevdal senses a little opportunity, and he hits 2. Neylin goes 5 for 6 and will leave with a lead. And the lead will grow because Dale Shevdal has 2 missed shots, and now Perrault has his chance at the silver medal as well. Perrault starts with a hit. Shevdal has yet to take an extra round. He hits his first. 3 for 3 for France. Shevdal into the second extra round. And France goes clean. He'll move past Norway. Norway will drop to the 3rd spot. And a miss again for Dale Shevdal. It's all slowly coming apart for the Norwegian. Can he hit this final shot? 1 bullet left, or it's a penalty loop for the Norwegians. And his barrel is moving in the wind. He gets it, avoids an absolute disaster, but has dropped from the lead to 3rd. And now the Norwegians have their work cut out for them because the next lap for the Swedes is the world champion, Martin Ponsiluoma.
Well, you have to say the big winner from that is not Eric Perrault, it is Jesper Neylin, who is now 21 seconds up on the Frenchman. But it was excellent shooting, you have to say, from the Frenchman, who was potentially drawing on what was going on beside him as it all fell apart for Dale Shevdal.
Oh, absolutely. You can tell when you do the sport of biathlon, you start to know the people you're competing against. And I can tell you, Eric Perra knew the door was open when he came in and saw black shots against white shots on the Norwegians' target, that he could play with the Norwegians' mind. And
Немец
exactly what he
попасть
did.
тоже
He came
не
in
может.
and mowed him down. But he doesn't have an easy task. He's only got 12 seconds on Dallas Shevdal over the
Что-то с
last 2
патроном.
kilometers, and that is an amount of time that Dallas Shevdal can close on Perrault.
Well, issues there for Germany as well. Things go from bad to worse.
Штрафной круг у
Penalty
Германии.
loop for Germany, and that is not the
Так и
day
не
they were
смог
looking for,
попасть.
as Riek Muller goes back to the drawing board and will likely let one of these teams pass him unless they also end up in the penalty loop.
Италия.
2 more misses for him, so the Italians
По той же
ends with
дорожке.
Bionazzi. He's got 4 misses already. But here is the shooting of Dallas Shevdal. Look at it. He's thinking about it. He's almost jumping on the trigger. The barrel moving. He gets that shot, but you can see his hold isn't terribly great. The fact that he's putting these down with all that barrel movement is a good sign that his trigger control is great. He's actually pulling the trigger well. But I think the nerves and the fatigue was just setting in, that he was thinking about just a little too much.
17.2 kilometer checkpoint, and
Эспинелин,
all by himself.
лидер данной гонки.
You know that power we were talking about, the Dallas Shevdal last lap? Doesn't matter now. He's back there. Dallas Shevdal's 30 seconds back, and that is the beauty of this sport, is that a guy like Jesper Nelin, who would never have a chance in a cross-country ski race against a guy like Dallas Shevdal, has 30 seconds on him and has his team in the lead.
Well, he's got just under 30 seconds. It's now dropped to
Eric Perrault.
26.6, and Dallas Shevdal is right on the back of Eric Perrault.
Но Норвегия сзади.
They're going to need
Это
every
очень
second, because
опасно
Martin
для
Ponzillo,
Эрика.
while he's a very fast skier by reputation, he's also a little bit of a
Дали
wild
не
card on the
дремлет.
ski range. You never know which Martin Ponzillo
Пытается
is going to show up
сейчас
under pressure.
сокращать.
Sometimes he can
Всеми
do
любимым
things brilliantly, come in and
способом.
just mow him down, but if he thinks about it a little too much,
И
there's
бороться
an
до
opportunity
конца.
for the chasers to catch him. And if you look at Vebjørn Sturm, he's not a great shooter. He's 80 and 81. It's solid, but it's not enough better than Martin Ponzillo at 79%. It's a percent difference, so there's no real advantage there for Norway against the Swedes on paper, with Nelin delivering it. As we said,
Атакует
Nelin needs
Эрика
to be
Перраult.
the sort of a lightning rod for this team, and he's doing just that. And what a day Sweden is having in Kontiolahti. I don't think they were thinking this would be the outcome of day one. Maybe they were.
So Dallas Shevdal up into second.
Да, все
Gap
уходит.
though remains just about the same. There's a
Далее.
fraction between the gap that Eric Perrault had on Jesper Nelin and the gap that is now held by Dallas Shevdal.
Shevdal left 33.9 seconds back. He's 24.6 back. You would expect him to take some time out of Nelin, but Nelin is clearly skiing well enough that it's not going to be enough to be of any major factor, that Dallas Shevdal needed to hit those shots to put Norway where they want to be right now. And now Norway goes to the weakest link. If you look at the Norwegian team, every one of them was ranked in the top 10 in the overall standings last year individually. Norton was 9th in the
Но
women's
все может
standings, Tenneco
измениться.
third, Dallas Shevdal third in the men's, and Vebjørn Sturm is 26th.
Стрельба
Not bad, but he's
непредсказуема.
the lowest
Мартин
ranked guy
Понсилома.
on their quartet. And now he's got to go up against Ponsiloma, who was 10th in the overall standings last year for Sweden.
Well, we have seen some pretty incredible underdog performances over the course of the day so far. Will we get another one here? Or will it be another victory for Sweden?
Here's Nelly.
Посмотрим, как готов
Coming to
Мартин
exchange for the
Понсилома.
final time in this opening mixed relay.
Ответственность,
2 men, 2 women, 2 men, each going 6 kilometers. Nelin
с которой он может не справиться.
has the Swedish team shooting very well. They have 4 extra rounds on the day.
Итак, передача эстафеты.
Great performance.
Заключительный этап.
And you can see
Мартин
the gap
Понсилома за
as
Швецию.
Dallas Shevdal comes in to hand
Йоханнес
over.
Дали передает
It's a brilliant perspective of just how big
Сору.
the gap is and what the distance is.
Just 16 seconds now. He ate up almost
Франция.
half of that gap that he gave the Swedes.
Эмилиан
And
Жаклин.
Ponsiloma now has to make sure that he stays clear of Surum. And Now the French in the mix as
Тройка
well
лидеров.
is Emilien Jacquelin, who is a very fast skier, and he's incredibly prolific or incredibly exciting to
Остальные
watch when he's
далеко.
on. But he is on, it seems like, less and less as his career goes on. As a young athlete, he kind of was a little bit of a phenomenon, and as he
Посмотрим, в
didn't have
какой
a lot of
форме Мартин.
expectations for himself, he kind of took a style of biathlon that was maybe a little bit aggressive and maybe a little bit kind of devil-may-care on the shooting range. And it worked for a while until it quit working. And then he found himself mid-career kind of trying to address that style of biathlon, and I don't think he's really fully recovered
Ребят,
from
поставьте
that
лайки,
sort of
кто не
on again, off
поставил.
again, that herky-jerky performance of
И
being
подпишитесь
phenomenal
на
when he's
канал,
on,
кто не
being really
подписан,
pretty disastrous on other days.
чтобы не пропустить новые
I'm still waiting to see
трансляции.
Jacquelin come back and be that exciting athlete that he was when he was in his early 20s.
On Saloma. Snow gets heavier once again.
Ponsaloma, just fun to watch in that technique, in that stuff. The speed techniques, Ponsaloma, he gets his weight in such a great place. Gets his hip in front of his heel and
Так,
keeps
ну
his
что
body
ж там?
momentum
Сколько
and all the
отставания?
inertia working for him. Such a great, relaxed skier. I would say Ponsaloma probably
Ну,
technically
как будто бы
the best
Сором
of the Swedes, well, definitely the best
приближается
technical skier of the Swedes, but
к
maybe the best technical
Мартину.
skier outside of Norway in
Да,
the world.
Сором приближается. 10 секунд было 16
Sturlam
между ними.
is 10.1 behind.
Конечно, приближается.
Sturlam at 88 and 81, 88 prone, 81 standing.
Jacquelin now through the checkpoint.
Но Мартину нужно идти в своем темпе, чтобы
Sturlam
на
has been on the
стрельбе.
podium twice individually in his career. He's had 2 third-place finishes, both of them coming last season. One in the mass start in
Отстреляться
Antolz
как
and
следует.
a sprint in Östersund. So hard to get on the Norwegian team as it is. And Sturlam
Слабо выглядит Мартин.
26 years of
Сором
age,
просто
still
16
relatively
секунд
young.
уже съел.
Certainly one of the depth skiers on the Norwegian team, but somebody who can certainly
Сором очень
develop into
сильный.
one of the stars if he can hold together. He's got Ponsaloma in his sights, but he knows that Ponsaloma is very fast, and Jacquelin is coming for Sturlam as well.
As they make their way up the wall.
Сокращает Сором.
The crowd starting
С
to
каждым
dissipate from
отталкиванием
this side of the course, make their way round to the finish.
намного мощнее идет.
We could be in for a spectacular finish here.
At 19.4 kilometers, Jacquelin, the fastest guy, by 10
Хочет прийти на
seconds. back from
стрельбу,
his last leg.
чтобы давить
Made
на
10 seconds on Ponsaloma. That tells me that Jacquelin is kind
психологию.
of throwing caution to the wind, and Ponsaloma is skiing very much under control, I think, to make sure that his prone shots go down.
Чтобы
The
швед
one thing
начал
standing in the way
нервничать
of a win here today in Sweden is
и
really just
промахиваться.
that man in your picture, where his mind goes and where his confidence stays from here to every shot and pull on the trigger with his trigger finger.
Yep, the question to chase or to be chased.
And as you can tell by my tone, I'm
Филипп
not entirely
Хорн.
sure if Ponsaloma will pull it off.
2 минуты проигрывает.
He certainly has done spectacular
Может,
things. He's
тройка
certainly
наверное
blown these situations
поменяется.
about 50-50. But we're about to get our answer because he's approaching the penultimate shooting of the day. It's Ponsaloma by himself. He's at an 8.5-second lead at the last time check. Let's see if that grows at all.
Итак, стрельба.
It's actually shrinking. Sturlam making another second on Ponsaloma into the shooting range.
Понсилома.
As well. So 15 seconds back is Jacquelin. At the exchange, he was 27 seconds back. So Jacquelin has skied himself back into this race. Still a 3-team battle.
И
No mistake
Сором,
about it.
и Жаклин тут.
A little bit breathing. Starts with a hit.
Промах Понсилома. Промах Сором.
Missed by Norway.
Промах Сором. Промах Понсилома.
Ponsaloma to the extra rounds now.
2 на 2.
2 misses
France
apiece.
Воспользуется ли
France with an opportunity here.
Жаклин?
Can Jacquelin mow them down? He's 3 for 3. 4 for 4. We're gonna see another switch of the lead.
Франция
France
выходит на
moves
первое
past
место.
Sweden and Norway as the two Scandinavian athletes battle each other mentally. Jacqueline sneaks the win or the lead from the two
Канцелома и Суром
Scandinavian
закрывают
teams, and it's France 1, and then Norway, Sweden.
последними
It's going to be
патронами.
about 8-9 seconds
Очень
back.
трудная стрельба.
9 seconds back. Just how important will
9,2
that penultimate shoot
проигрывает
be?
Канцелома.
We come to the finish line.
Суром.
Jacqueline, who
Сейчас будет догонять
refound his love
Жаклена.
for the sport last season. As he thinks of what his younger self would feel and how proud he'd be of his career.
See the shooting of Ponsalom in the lead. I think just not enough flow. There's a big miss. That is when you miss that far out of you saw it at 3 o'clock. When you miss halfway between the phone ring and the standing ring, that is absolutely jumping on the trigger. Another one way outside. That's all mental. There's nothing technical wrong with that. That is jumping on the trigger. And Ponsaloma just didn't let the practice flow, and he misses again. Puts himself nearly in the penalty loop. And meanwhile, Jacqueline comes in and he finds that zen you need for biathlon and shows, and that is all the difference. It's just a state of mind and getting to a place where you've trained your body and mind to go.
And so it's getting heavier and heavier into the closing stages.
Французский тренер радуется пока что. Но на стойке мы знаем, что Жаклен может. Пять промахов сделал. Так что радоваться рано.
Fast approaching the 21.2 kilometre mark. It's France with his wife one on their chest, who are into the lead. It's been a long time in this race since we've said that.
Yeah, just looking back at the time check, the first exchange. The first exchange was France was back in third place, 15 seconds back.
12,6 проигрывают. Догнать не могут.
27.9 seconds back, and now just in one lap, Jacqueline erased that 27.9 second gap and has them.
Их спасет только плохая стрельба Жаклена.
Rest of the field by double digits.
Yeah, the last time that
Только это. Жаклен воодушевился, видно.
Now it's Jacqueline trying to give the French something to cheer about and looking very strong. And Surum is staying with Martin Ponsaloma. Martin Ponsaloma left the shooting range what appeared to me moving pretty quickly, but now he looks a little bit labored, and I'm kind of wondering if Ponsaloma is really feeling it today. Maybe having a little bit off day on the speed. Surum's certainly able to stay with him, not having any problem doing that. They've lost 5 seconds to Jacqueline.
Уже 17 и
time check, just 2/10 of a kilometer.
Jacqueline moving a lot better up the wall than Ponsaloma and Surlem.
Все решает заключительная стрельба.
Final shoot of this mixed relay. Jacqueline gets to measure his effort as he's got nobody in front of him that he's chasing, just the chasers from behind. His shooting percentage is a solid 75%.
Ребят, подпишитесь на канал, поставьте лайки. Кто любит биатлон, кому нравится трансляция, чтобы не пропускать.
From the range.
There's still a horn now, getting him out of Germany, but he's 2 minutes, 13 seconds back. Huge gap before the fifth now. So a battle between the Central European nations of Germany and Italy. Then the battle several times in the past. But it is the Frenchman, Jacqueline, trying to carry the hopes and expectations of the French team into this 2024-25 season, and Jacqueline is in control.
Жаклин.
As we've seen in the past, you fall out of control very easily.
Француз победит. Посмотрим.
One final time. A wipe of the brow.
Все может быть.
Still all to himself.
Промах. Один промах француза. Норвегия промах. Закрывает. Мартин Панселома.
He's 4 for 4. Can he chase the Frenchman for the win?
Чисто.
Ponceloma's clean. He's going to guarantee second place for Sweden. But the bigger question is, does he have what it takes to chase down Jacqueline? And Surum, with an extra round, will chase for about another 10 seconds back. It's going to be tight, though, into the final loop. Jacqueline kicks the clock at 105.21.4. Right behind him, Ponceloma 8.6 seconds. That is a doable amount of time if Ponceloma is on. But I fear he might not have the fitness he needs to catch him.
Ponceloma is going to have to fight and fight incredibly hard if he's to close that 8.6 second gap. You can see him looking up, taking those glances. He knows what he has to do, but he also has to be cautious from behind.
Кто займет второе место? Мартин Панселома или Сором?
But now you know the proposition is you got 2 kilometers of pain, about 5 minutes to try to get to the line first over Jacqueline. Now Jacqueline is a very good sprinter. However, Ponceloma is physically a faster skier. But it's where they can apply the speed. So even if Ponceloma can catch Jacqueline, if Jacqueline has any dexterity left, he should have a finishing touch to put Ponceloma away in his sprint finish.
Конечно.
IBU World Cup season. We had a sprint, a photo finish. It wasn't for first place, it was for second and third. But in the end, another photo finish of our final race of the day.
It doesn't look like Ponceloma's making up the gap very obviously. As Jacqueline comes down to the turn, and they've got to head back up the wall. The wall is going to decide everything, and we're going to see at the 23.2 kilometer mark what kind of damage the Swede has done, if any, to Jacqueline. Surum doing a great job of keeping Norway in it, but Norway never comes anywhere to get third.
And they struggled earlier today as well in the single mixed relay.
Jacqueline comes through 23.2.
Самуэльсон победил в прошлой гонке сингл микст. Посмотри трансляцию. Тоже была сегодня.
Well, we know this will be the podium. Jacqueline, it's his to lose for France.
Гонишь шведа. Тренируем. Думаю, Сором поборется. Не захочет отдавать.
He lost 2 seconds to Biatlon Surum of Norway. So Ponceloma not in any certainty of bringing the silver medal home. And there goes Surum on the right of your screen. Norway making the move past Surum, almost pinching himself. Am I going past the sprint world champion? Indeed you are, Björn. And you've got a gap on him now. Ponceloma clearly not in the best shape in this first race of the season, and he is less struggling and looking at the silver medal ski away.
Him gasping for air.
Сором, второе место. Мартин слабо пока что в форме. Даже первое может Сором занять. Я весь сезон показываю. Так что подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки, пишите комменты.
He's got his eyes up. He is driving towards the French athlete who leads the way.
Нагоняет Сором
To close the gap and take the victory for Norway.
француза. Все. Француз стал просто. Сором атакует. Сором. Сором, давай. Все, Сором победил.
What an incredible finish of our second race of the day here at Kontiolahti. Norway have done it. They've fought from behind, and you can see the frustration on the face of the Frenchman. Jacqueline thought he had it. Ponsaloma will take third.
Жаклин сдался.
What a finish.
Жаклин сдался
To
просто.
really kickstart the 2024-25 BMW
Бесил
IBU World
Жаклин.
Cup season. An incredible finish, a statement finish from the young man of Norway.
The statistics simply don't back this up in any way, shape, or form. By all accounts, Vebjørn Sørum was not the strongest man in history against these athletes, but it's the first race of the year. A lot of these athletes don't have that prime pump that they're used to, and if you look from reputation alone, Jacqueline and Ponsaloma should have been able to ski away from Vebjørn Sørum, but Sørum brings Norway back in the most improbable. They didn't lead the entire race, and they led it where it mattered most, the final 5 meters. Norway with a shocking win from behind.
Норвегия победила каким-то образом.
You can see how much it means to the team. Norton and Sandervold have done a good job. It started to fade. Midway through Sandervold's leg of the relay. They brought it back. What are you saying, Chad? Norway, they don't go to lose, do they?
I mean, even at the top of the wall, I didn't think it was possible for Vebjørn Sørum to
На
catch.
остальные уже сильно отстали.
Jacqueline is known as one of the best finishers in the business, and he had plenty of space to hold off Sørum.
Ладно, ребят, подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки. Кто хочет поддержать канал, ссылка есть. Всем удачи, встретимся в новой трансляции.
Was a factor, and Vebjørn Sørum